preparing to stream. Excellent. I don't know what's going on here, folks. I was going to try to stream on my computer. Here we go. All right. Let me shut this down here. Okay. To do today. All right. I thought I could go both on YouTube and TikTok at the same time. Okay. By using my computer. Obviously, I can't. Okay, so we're going to forget this computer. But I got a new one coming on the way. And I, but we'll get it, folks. You know, folks, yesterday I was telling a story on TikTok, and it was about me dealing drugs. All right, and it was marijuana, nothing hard. You know, I don't consider marijuana hard. I don't know what you feel about it. But you know, you all hear this myth. You hear this myth of it's against the law to deal drugs in the mafia. Now, I'm going to tell you why. It's nothing more than a myth, and it's bullshit. Okay? Because it's been going on since the 1920s or before. Okay? Thank you, Spark Packs, Rick. Uh, Hi, Cindy. Hi, everybody that come here today. You know, folks, you all know that I'm the accidental gangster from insurance salesman to Hollywood fixer. A lot of you have purchased my book, and some have not. And what are you waiting for? Okay, and the other thing is, a lot of you are members of the gangster circle, but most of you are not, and I can't figure out, all right, what you're waiting for. Is everybody hearing me okay? Agent Orange says he can't. All right, all right. Please give me a yes, you could hear me, or a no, you can't. Okay? All right. Cindy could hear me. Agent Orange, it's got to be something on your end. Okay? I got no control over that. All right? So, folks, many years ago, before I got arrested, I was sending 500 pounds of marijuana every other week into New York. We had a pilot, very good guy, had his own plane, and we flew it from Arizona to New York, where I had a couple different airports that were sort of hidden. However, one was in plain sight, okay? And he was flying, land, my driver from New York would be waiting, take it from the plane, put it in my guy's vehicle, and the plane leaves, and my guy heads to New York to my apartment on Oceanside in Brooklyn. So that's what I was doing. Then I had several people that I would sell it to, and depending on the amount of credit I gave them. Now I never took money there, and I never touched the weed. I would say, Cindy, you got 75 pounds, Agent Orange, you got 50, boom, boom, till my 500 pounds was gone. And I based it upon the amount of credit that I gave each of these people. And then I had my driver waiting for me. I drive to my place on 54th and 6th, and which is the Warwick Hotel. And then in the evening, everybody start coming and giving me cash. After everybody leaves, and when they're there, they see me put the cash in my safe. Okay? That's great, Mandy. Your daughter made it through surgery. All right, everybody. Mandy's daughter's in having dental problems. And last night, I got it. I've had a brace down here for, I feel like I had it all my life. And I gotta be honest, I was eating a peanut butter cup. And all of a sudden, I feel this hard thing. What the hell is this? I thought it was something in the peanut butter cup. I took it out. It was my brace. And the dentist couldn't see me this morning. Okay, so I gotta get that cleared up. All right, but we will. So anyhow, where was I now? I don't want to lose track here. So forgive me if I can't answer all your comments right now, but I will. So be patient. Listen to my story because you don't want to miss this, folks. Because you all think, because you hear these other guys say it's against the rules to deal drugs in the mafia. Oh my God, that's so much bullshit. It's unbelievable. All right, and I don't know why these guys say it. Maybe, maybe their captain told them they couldn't. Okay, maybe their captain was and didn't want them to do it, or their boss was doing it and didn't want them to do it. Okay, it's all about money. Okay, and don't kid yourself. There's an awful lot of money in drugs. So now here I am back at my hotel. They see me put it in my safe. This is about trusting. You can't trust anybody in that world. Okay? The moment they leave, boom, I take that cash out. I had my guy Charlie in another room upstairs. And Charlie slept, ate, never left his room. He, all the cash was up there, and nobody would know about it. Okay? And then it would be Charlie who would take that cash and drive it across country to where I wanted it to go. It had to go. All right. And sometimes, okay, the pilot, when he would come back in, I'd still be in New York. Okay. Then I would have to pay him to pay the Mexicans in Arizona that we bought it from. Okay. Now, I want you folks to tell me now. Okay. Now, here I am. All the guys, I had a lot of what we call leftover hippies, all right, that were selling the marijuana and all sorts of people I had. But one of my guys was selling to a Gambino guy, and he let it slip out that this marijuana was coming from Ori Spado. Now, this Gambino guy, here he is, he's dealing marijuana because he's buying from my guy. So he's not a big buyer, okay? Because my guy, let's say I gave my guy 100, he might give this guy, all right, I'm selling it for 1,000, okay? And then my guy and myself are 12, 1,500, okay? And then those people got to take it and they break it down, all right? So everybody's got to make money somewhere. But this Gambino guy ran to his boss and said, Ori Spado dealing marijuana. Don't that make him a rat? In my book, it does. I don't know about your book. Okay? But, uh, anyways, his boss goes to Sonny and tells Sonny. So now here I am. I get a call from Sonny one night. Hey, buddy, we got to meet. I met him at Avenue D, a restaurant. And we went and did a walk and talk. And here he is telling me, hey, buddy, I hear you're doing the babanya. You know, you gotta, show us a little love here. I said, what are you talking about? I don't do it. Okay, because the first rule you got to learn in that life is deny, deny, deny. Okay, Cindy thanks me for my 420 service. Oh, that's great, Cindy. Thank you. Folks, if you're not subscribed to my channel, tell me what you're waiting for. Where else can you come, get true stories, get the facts, and get some laughs in too sometimes? All right? So like, keep hitting that little, subscribe, and keep hitting that like button. Don't let me ask you all the time. You know what to do. Okay? So anyhow, he said, hey, buddy, we know so-and-so in California, he's in that, and he just sent 50 grand to the Gambino. I said, look, buddy, I don't deal it. I keep just deny it. What freak am I going to pay money for something that nobody's doing for me? Okay? I just can't see it. If you're working with me, you're helping me, okay? And I got paid trivia for what? Okay? I don't believe in that shit. All right? And people want to know how old I am. All right, folks, if you want to know how old I am, get my book, The Accidental Gangster, from Insurance Salesman to Hollywood Fixture. Just go up there in my profile. Okay, you can find it, find out everything about me. When I was born, how I was born, etc., etc. Okay? And you were asking questions you want answers to. So can you give me some gifts over here? Okay? Anybody that gives me a gift, all right, or hits that thanks button, I'll answer their question immediately. All right? I'm sorry, I'm not being a prick, but this is a business too. Okay? So, you know, so anyhow, I get by that. Now, at the same time, all right, I get another call from a guy that there's a mix up on drugs of 3,500 pounds that was supposed to go to Chicago, but the drivers messed up when they switched trucks, and the one for Chicago went to New York to this guy in the Bronx. His product, which was a higher quality product, went to Chicago. So now I get word of it to some Mexicans, but I got to take the whole load, 3,500 pounds. And it's been sitting in this warehouse. And the guy won't give us a sample or none of that there. Okay? So I make out a ring and I get my guys. They rent a big truck. We were at the park in Brooklyn, right across from the police station, too. We were. Okay? And we had to wait for them to go to the Bronx. And then they come back, and I had to get a lock for the back of the book, for the back of the truck. And by this time, it's getting late at night, and we can't do nothing with it, but we got to keep it safe. So we drove to the airport of Kennedy. It was Kennedy Airport. Got rooms at the hotel room, at the Holiday Inn. And I made sure that my guys, when they had their room, that they could look out the window and be able to see the truck. Next morning, one of my guys gets somebody that said we could bring it to her place. And I'm going to tell you, it was the wife of a famous singer. Yeah, they lived in a cul-de-sac. And from there, we had to take this. They were starting to get the mold on this. We had to cut the mold out, okay? And it was worth nowhere near the price that the Mexicans wanted. Nowhere. Well, I offered them. I forgot some ridiculously low number. And that's how it was worked. Because I just had to get rid of this stuff. I think I offered them $100 a pound. Okay? I'll take Richard Van Doga out there. Okay? Anybody disrespectful, get rid of them, Mandy and Cindy, okay? Because I don't have time for this bullshit. All right? I come here, I work my ass off, I put my things together, and I got a lot more to tell you when the Mafia started, how it started, and why it started. And you're going to be astonished at the names that I'm going to be telling you in a few moments. Okay? So here it is. You know that the Gambinos know that my guy, a friend of mine here in California, is paying tribute to the Gambino family. Now, he was in uh, the white business, okay? You know what I mean? Right? And so, Sonny is saying, buddy, you're doing is just pay tribute, he's okay with it, okay? See, in the mafia, they're okay with anything that's going to bring money, and they don't care where it comes from. It don't make a difference, okay? Some people have some moral in them, and maybe there's a few gangsters that don't want to, all right? Thank you, Kathy, okay? We got some wonderful, wonderful comments here today. I want to thank you all for these comments. So, folks, now you know my story. No, I'm not going to. Here, I got a story about the cartel with that 3,500 pounds and how they wanted to whack me. Okay? We'll get to that story another time. All right? So, I knew what I was talking about, but I wanted to make sure that what I was telling you was the truth. So I did my research like I normally do. All right? You all heard of Carlo Gambino. That's why the Gambino family is named after him. One of the best bosses ever in history. Okay? In the year 1948, Carlo Gambino, Carlo and Paul Gambino met with Lucky Luciano at a relative's home in Palermo, Sicily. Federal Bureau of Narcotics files linked the Gambinos to overseeing smuggling pipelines, including moving individuals and heroin via ships like the SS Panormus arriving in Philadelphia. Okay? Now there is Carlo Gambino. Understand? Him and his brother, and they were in the heroin business. Now, Lucky Luciano was in the heroin business before them. And Lucky Luciano is the guy who put the five families together, if you recall. Okay? While law enforcement tied Carl Gambino to early international drug trafficking connections through his Sicilian roots, later in his tenure as boss of the family, Gambino publicly and internally discouraged large-scale narcotics trading. He believed it drew too much federal scrutiny. Now he did, okay? Through individual members of his family, though individual. members of his family continue to do it. All right? What about Joe Bonanno? He was there with Lucky Luciano, boss of the Bonanno family, still bearing his name. Well, Joe Bonanno brought Carmen Galanti and traveled to Palermo in 1957. And they met at the Grand Hotel Palms with other American mobsters. And guess who? All you won't believe. Lucky Luciano to coordinate a major international heroin smuggling pipeline in the United States. All right? The Zip Network. The Zip Network is what they call the Italians that they bring from Italy. And now we got a lot of them. All right? They abide by the rules, the regulation. Okay? They got pizza parlors. They got all sorts of businesses where the main source of income or the biggest source is drugs. Okay, is that enough, folks? You want more? All right, the idea that the mafia strictly banned drug dealing is largely a myth popularized by organized crime itself and cemented by films like The Godfather. While specific bosses like Angelo Bruno, who I didn't know, Paul Castellano, and Vincent Giganti officially banned their members from dealing narcotics. That emerged in the 1970s, 1980s to avoid harsh federal prison sentences and informants, rather than from moral opposition. Rather than from moral opposition, in reality, top masters like Luciano, Vito Genovese were deeply involved. They were so deep in the drugs, folks, and made so much money. Federal drug trafficking laws carried massive prison terms. Even when families officially outlawed narcotics, bosses often looked the other way or collected a tribute tax from lower level associates who sold drugs anyway. They were doing it then, they're doing it now. Okay? So I don't know why, how these freaking other guys who are gangsters, who are on YouTube, want to come out and say it's illegal. It's not. It might be illegal for him, but it was not illegal for his boss. Make any sense to you now? You see where I'm going with this, folks? Okay? And folks, keep subscribing, liking. All right? 1920s and 1940s. Lucky Luciano smuggled and profited from narcotics alongside bootlegging and prostitution. Okay? He was into it all. And you asked about Paul Vario. Well, I know some of his people who did. Okay? And they made a lot of money, and Paul made money from it. And you all know, okay? Henry Hill was part of Paul Vario's crew. Right, Angela? Thank you for that question. All right, folks, why we only have 44 likes? Okay, I should be at 100 likes now for the information I give you. You know, show me a little bit of respect because I come to you in a respectful manner each and every day. And I expect respect in return. So, folks, there you are. I gave you some of the biggest names in the mafia, and they all were in drugs. Okay, so forget this bullshit you see in the movies, or forget this bullshit you hear from other people. Thank you, Charlie. Malad Tire Roll. He wants a contribution. Well, hit that thanks button and show me a little bit of love. Okay? People want money from me, but they come here and I'm the one providing valuable content, truthful content, and you have no idea how many people text me asking me for money. I don't give money out, folks. Huh? No. Thank you, King Hazy. Folks, I was going to try to do an hour and a half show. And my ideal thing is because, you know, TikTok shows me a lot of love. I got to be honest. Okay, I got almost 90,000 followers over there. And a lot of respect over there. I just can't figure out why, we get so many bots and things over here on YouTube. We got them over there, but they're not nasty. So I don't know how all that stuff works. I'm not uh, computer technology oriented. I don't think I ever will be. Okay. Uh, and there's my buddy George Moore. George, I'm glad you made it here, buddy. George Moore went to high school with me. Okay, folks, he's from my hometown. Just thought I'd let you know there. He was having a little technical problems yesterday, but it seems like she's fixed them. So thank you, George, for being there. All right, folks, I can't do an hour and a half. I got other things I got to do. I'm 81 years old. I don't let no grass grow under my feet. Yesterday, I did take the time off. I was really exhausted. I had to take the time off. Folks. So anything you can do, hit that subscribe button. All right? Trying to get to 25,000 subscribers. And hit that like button because that supposedly helps us while we're here live to get more into the algorithm. Okay? I don't know exactly how it works. Like I said, I don't know. I really don't want to learn it. I'm a talker. I come here, I'm a talker, I'm a reader, I'm a researcher. Okay? And thank you for those gifts. Okay? Somehow, some way they help me. Okay? I don't know if it converts to money. Okay? Alright? A little dizzy. One piece of advice for your younger self. Well, let's say that I was talking to myself, my younger self. I would say, keep that thing in your pants. Okay? I loved women too much, and I cheated on my first wife. I should have never done that. Okay? She was an awesome, awesome lady. Still is, okay? Uh, but I messed up. So if you're a younger man and you find somebody you love and they truly love you, be loyal, respectful, and honorable, okay? So you want to have a life with somebody, especially when you get older, in your older days, and your retirement. All right? Here I am. I'm 81 years old. I've had thousands of women in my life. I had some of the most beautiful actresses, all right, that you know that were on TV. I dated every man's dream, okay, just one of them. Every man's dream, and this girl truly was. But now I'm 81 and I'm alone here in my apartment in Beverly Hills, California. Okay? The said it's only cheating if you get caught. Yeah, there's some truth to that. But the other truth is I'm honest and transparent, and I told my first wife because I'm the one that asked for the divorce. So, folks, I want to thank you all for coming. All right? God bless you all. And remember, I shall tell you all day if I can get one of you to do it, okay? To be kind and nice to other people. And if you can make one person happy, okay? One, it's going to come back to you. So try doing that every day, folks. I love you all. All my love and respect. Or Spado. Take care.